Hi, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Brindille pendant. This is going to be the drum version that's round 137665. Let's get into details about it. So let's talk about the height of the fixture body itself, and that's going to be independent of the rod it's hanging from. It's measured from the bottom of the fixture, which is the bottom of those brindily twigs, which is called the decoration on the bottom, to the top of that shade setup. 11.1 inches in height, 22 inches in diameter. Overall height, now we're talking about the distance from the bottom of the fixture to the actual ceiling itself, is going to give you a range 21.4 inches at its shortest, all the way to 66.4 inches at its longest as standard product. So how they break that up is into overall heights that you can attain that are going to be listed on a chart way down there in the corner, and they should match pretty close to what you guys are looking for your overall height. Hubbardton's going to be using a combination of these interconnected rods, and when you look at that chart, you're going to notice that it's going to show you, it's going to tell you which rods and which combinations you need to get to those overall heights that are listed there. You know, another place that's going to be listed is going to be the installations instructions. So if you're on the page for this on Handmade in Vermont, look over on that side of the screen, midway down, you're going to see a link. It's going to say click here for installations instructions PDF. So open that up for me. The reason why I wanted to show you that to you, it shows you these great schematic drawings and diagrams of this fixture, shows you the setup of the bulbs inside, it shows you how the diffusers go on, shows you the canopy setup, full parts list, just all kinds of great information you don't really get from a photograph. So speaking about that, you'll notice in the drawings on there that they're going to be using two different diffusers on this. Diffusers are basically going to be glass diffusers that are frosted. One goes on the bottom so you don't see up inside of this to look at the bulbs, so you're not going to be able to see those. Excuse me. There's also another one on top that's actually two different halves that make one whole diffuser. So the whole point of having a diffuser on the top of a fixture is if you're looking down on this from up above, like on a stairway or a balcony, that you won't look and see those bulb setups. However, if you're not in a situation like that, you don't have to use those, because if you don't use those, you're basically going to get more light going up and hitting your ceiling. So if you're in a situation where you just a one-story deal with no stairs, no balconies, like I said, you don't have to use the top diffuser. You do need to use the bottom diffuser, but the top diffuser you could just kind of wrap up and bubble wrap and put into a closet someplace. It'll actually give you better light. A little word to the wise. Okay, so let's move on and talk about this whole system, Hubbardton Forge for interconnecting rods. So you're going to be getting 3 of the 12s, 1 of the 6, and 1 of the 3 right off the bat. That's going to be the kit that you're going to get. These have threading in the ends of them, and what puts them together is called a connector. Connector has threading on the ends as well, and it just does what it says. It connects, and you basically just screw them together. And you'll notice when you put them together, it's an amazingly clean line. You barely can even see this. The precision that Hubbardton Forge uses in their milling is pretty spectacular. Just something to know. It's going to ship with 67 inches of wire. So if you need to go beyond that 66.4 inches overall height that I talked about before, let's say you need this to be much, much longer from the ceiling down because you've got like a 22-foot ceiling or something like that, drop me a quick email. Tell me that you're looking at the 137665. Make sure you tell me if it's going to be on a flat ceiling or a slope ceiling. It's kind of important. I'm going to take your email, send it through Hubbardton Forge's customs department. They'll come back with an answer. We do customs every day. It adds a little time and money, but it's something that we do. No big deal at all. Okay, so we touched on the diffusers. Let's talk about how you kind of put this together, basically. So when you have this on your table, you're going to put down a nice towel to protect it. Put your fixture down there. You're going to be snaking your wires through these parts little by little. So instead of putting them, all together, you're going to figure out which pipes you need to begin with and kind of lay them out. And then you're going to put the wires through the connector, through a pipe, through a connector, through a pipe. After that, you're going to screw them together. You're going to kind of build your fixture going up. At the top of it is going to be your 5-inch round canopy that goes over your 4-inch junction box. This is what you guys have on your ceiling at home. And this is already set up to be slope ceiling adaptable to 45 degrees if you do need it. So there's a knuckle at the top of this, just like your finger, and it allows it to bend 45 degrees. So you're all set. No problems. Let's talk about what's going on inside of this as far as lamping goes. And this is medium base. Let me go find my medium base stuff. Okay. Medium base. Medium base is going to be this bigger one. And we'll take out some medium base bulbs. And you're not going to be able to see the bulbs, so it doesn't matter what kind you use as far as pretty ones or not pretty ones. When you get into incandescent on this, you're going to be limited to what's called an A19 bulb. And this is an A19. It's just a regular size bulb we all grew up with. But the max wattage for incandescent, because of the heat generated by an incandescent bulb, is going to be 100 watts in each of the 3 sockets. And those sockets kind of pinwheel out. They're on their sides. So just kind of keep in mind of that. If you want to go LED, there's no limit, because LEDs don't generate much heat. They generate light, and they use very little electricity. So if you want to go LED, well, you can go with this one that's not so pretty. You can go with the phosphorus ones that have all the little phosphorus lines in them. There's no big difference. Maybe it's the cost or your availability. But there's, like I said, there's no reason you can't find a 100-watt equivalent of each of these kind of LEDs and use them in tandem with each other. When we talk about the color of light coming out of LEDs, I like to talk about them in terms of Kelvin. Kelvin is that scale. 2700 Kelvin is the super yellow light. That's like the setting sun. Way on the other side of that is called daylight, which sounds warm. When you look at the box and you're at the store and it says daylight on it, don't be fooled. That's a blue-white, like hospital waiting room light, so be careful about that. That's 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 on that Kelvin scale. What we like to use in our showroom is called warm white, and that's going to be right in the middle of it. That's easy to find. That's 3,000 Kelvin. That's the light coming down on my hands from these LEDs. Matter of fact, these LEDs are basically just like this guy. And this is a really nice warm light. People think this is incandescent when they come into our showroom. So, you know, when you're out and about looking, just make sure you kind of zero in on quite a few things. So, for me anyway, I would say 3,000 Kelvin, dimmable, very, very important. I would probably look for a 75 watt equivalent to a 100 watt equivalent, but don't forget you have 3 of these sockets, so you could even easily go to 60 watt equivalents and get a ton of light out of this. Let's get into finishes now. If you're on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over on this side of the screen. Midway down, you're going to see a tab. It's going to say Finishes Help Guide. Click on that for me. There's going to be a video on there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton Forge finishes and how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be talking about a chart a little farther down on the page. You'll see it next to me here. It's going to kind of go over the differences between heavy forging and non-heavy forging, and it'll be talked about in that video. So it's really important that you kind of watch the video, use the chart. You can click on that chart on different things. So you can click on dark smoke and a big page will pop up and show you lots of different things in dark smoke. Click on burnished steel or natural iron, it'll do the same thing. But it's really important that you understand how Hubbardton Forge's finishes are kind of divided into translucent and opaque and how they can look on different fixtures. Our showroom in Vermont has we're up to 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures spread across 2 floors. We have a What's on Display page. It's way up there in those red tabs again, so click on that and you can see what we have to show you. That changes all the time because we're always adding things as they come out. Showroom's open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. We have an amazing clearance center here too. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued things, and showroom samples. If you were coming to visit us, bring a good-sized vehicle, something like a big SUV or maybe a small truck or something like that, because you might find something in the clearance center that you want to take home, and it's a lot of fun to go through. 75% off MSRP is an amazing bargain, so you should really take advantage of it if you can. Like I said, we're open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call us at 802-446-2400 during business hours. You can email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. We love to answer emails. When you buy your Hubbardton Forge fixtures from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. There's no tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont, and we're the only dealer with 90-day returns and no restocking fees. No one else even comes close to that. Some larger items are non-returnable. We'll always tell you about that. It'll be in the description thing, that part of the description underneath on the very bottom. So keep an eye out for that. We also offer a rush program. Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get product out. They don't stock anything. That's how you're going to get all your finishes, your adjustable ranges to play with, all those things. We can cut that time in half, and it's super inexpensive. If you want to know more, drop a quick email, and I can walk you through the whole thing, okay? So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Love to see you in our showroom sometime, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.